Hello, welcome back to the channel. Those of you that have been following me for a long time might recognize the voice of the man to my right. This would be Miami Mike. He's been on my old podcast. We used to do a podcast last year and a year before. Actually, no, it's like 2 years ago now, I think, technically. Getting old, goddamn. But, we do like weekly NFL recaps. And I got a text from out of the blue the other day, and he goes, it's individually, we're always in group chats, and he just goes, "What are you doing your power rankings?" So I've got some things to say. So I thought I'd give him a good platform. But Mike, why don't you go and introduce yourself, and then we can hop into some things you have to say.
My name is Miami Mike Neuer. I am a diehard Miami Dolphins fan, suffering after a tough Sunday night. I am back and ready to go. This team is got some good things coming up, and I'm happy to be here, Mr. Stackpole.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. But yeah, so I thought we could just start with like your power rankings, give us your list, and then maybe I'll have a little bit of input in there. But then we can just kind of talk about the league as a whole and some things we've seen so far and what we expect going forward, because we're getting close to the halfway point already, which again, I hate to say that. My college videos, I said it last week and almost threw up my mouth. So
Yeah, it's a bad feeling to be at the halfway point, but it's also closer if you're a good team to what you actually want to be. Because sometimes I get into that rhythm. I'm like, I wish the postseason was next week, but at the same
what, the
time,
draft? I'm a Lions fan. What's at the end of the year? The draft?
not this year, man. Not this
Hope
year.
not. I hope not.
But no, like it's crazy to think we're already halfway through. But at the end of the day, both of our teams, Blake, are in good spots. I don't care what the media says.
Sure.
Um,
Both
I'm
5-2. It's pretty
You
good.
can't complain at 5-2. I have my issues, and that's okay. But I can't sit here and be like I'm so upset. We're 5-2.
For sure.
But I'll hop right into it here. First few I think are pretty simple. In last place,
You want to go bottom up or top down?
we'll, I think we go bottom up. Let me start
I
at
like that.
32.
I
We'll
like
get
that.
to the top 10. Number 32, Carolina Panthers. The reason being they don't have a win. How can I put them anywhere higher than last if you don't have a win?
And they
And
both failed to cover a 2 touchdown plus spread versus both of our teams. In the
well,
NFL, that's crazy.
I'll tell you what, they came out red hot against Miami, and I was sitting there watching the game like, I'm just gonna wait. And then
Great
just
live bet opportunity.
oh, absolutely, absolutely, that was hammered. But yeah, nothing too crazy. I not the biggest fan of Bryce Young, but I also at the same time he kind of reminds me of Tua. He's a smaller guy. He's from Alabama, obviously, and he loves Adam Thielen. I am sick because I dropped Adam Thielen in my one
No,
league.
Mike.
First week, I know, it was
No,
disgusting.
I traded for him in 2 of my leagues, and I picked him up in our big league, and he's actually starting on our 8-man league. Yeah, but
Yeah, not my greatest move.
the craziest thing with the Panthers is is you got to build around your young quarterback, and you got to do it as quickly as possible. And you had to trade away DJ Moore, a big, obviously great weapon. You obviously end up bringing in Thielen, who's having a damn near Pro Bowl caliber season, as crazy as to say.
Yes, he is.
And you bring him in, and you get rid of some other guys, and you trade a lot of picks away. I mean, they have no first round this year, and I believe no third round as well. You did get some picks coming in from McCaffrey, but can you imagine if this team, you had, McCaffrey somehow still on this team with him, but you obviously had to go get your quarterback. And,
Yep.
With the whole thing of the window being as big as quick as the, as the window as big as your rookie contract is, it's going to be a year or two before they have like really good additions to this. And they have to start paying some of their guys. They're in a really rough spot.
Well, I saw something today that Hopkins was thinking about. There's some thoughts of trading him. So I mean, it depends on what they even have to offer. Like you said,
Right?
they give away a lot. There's not much besides green money. But yeah, the Panthers. I think they'll hopefully improve because I do like seeing young quarterbacks, and there's one that we got to actually wait on for a little bit after incredible start this season. But I like when young quarterbacks play well, and I think Bryce Young will get it together. It's just when. I also don't know about Frank Reich, head coach, but
I wouldn't disagree because the craziest part is looking back on it, and obviously I think we'll get to this team in a bit, but Frank Reich pretty clearly wanted C.J. Stroud, and ownership came in and took Bryce Young. That's a bit of a red flag.
Yeah. And that's the biggest thing, I think, on the like administrative level of a sports team is like, is everyone on the same page? Like, are we all working towards the same goal here of who we were working with, who we're like have available? It's a tough one, but
Hardest position in sports is the owner. It just seems so dumb if you're going to hire a coach and you should be like, hey, we're hiring you and we're taking Bryce Young. That should be pretty quick in the interview process, I would like to think.
yeah, yeah. I you should. It was pretty clear. I mean, do you know when they hired him and when that trade happened with Chicago?
I don't know, but I mean, I would like to think that either they had, I think they hired the coach and then did the trade, but I'd like to think that was kind of a thing that they thought about. I mean, when they all jumped up, everyone thought it was for CJ Stroud because it's like Frank Reich loves his tall quarterbacks. Obviously, not going to take a 5'9" guy, but I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Number 31. Sorry, Giants fans. You guys just ain't it. It's tough to watch. I mean, I was cheering for Tyrod because, I mean, especially when he was playing the Bills and my Bills buddies are sitting next to me. I was cheering for Tyrod Taylor, but I'm not going to mess around. The team is, I don't know what the heck happened. They don't look like a capable football team. I don't know what's happened in the last year, and I know they won. I know they beat the Washington Commanders, but
mid-off.
It was 14-7. Like, that wasn't the craziest freaking win I've ever seen in my life. So, I like Brian Dable. I don't know what's happened. I think it's outrageous that they signed Daniel Jones for the contract they did.
And not Saquon.
It confuses me because I think you have to be a blind person to not see that Daniel Jones is just not it. I don't know how you, as a franchise, you then go, okay, let me sign this guy to a max contract. Like, that to me is one of drafting him was a tough choice or a terrible choice, and signing him to that is a terrible choice. I don't know. I think they're a bad football team. I wish they were better, because Saquon Barkley is awesome to watch, and they got great jerseys, and they're the New York Giants. So
those throwbacks on Sunday Night Football against the Bills. That should be an every time thing. Like, it's not very often you get a throwback where it's like, whoa. But and you look at the Giants, I think it's kind of a bit like the Vikings, where I think that they were like 8-1 or something in one score games, and you always have a regression to the mean. I think they kind of overachieved a bit last year, which is tough to do because you obviously get in the middle of the season, you get a reassessment of expectations quickly on. Like we kind of saw it with Colorado. People are like in college football, they're like, "Oh, Colorado stinks right now." It's like, dude, they're supposed to win like 2 games, and they've won 4 or 5 now. Obviously, when you start hot, you're like, "Whoa, we're in." Or if you start off bad and you become 500, it's like, whoa, we're actually good. It's like, all right, you got to remember your preseason expectations, and games happen.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, that's 31. At 30, we have the Arizona Cardinals. The only reason that I put them higher than the New York Giants is because Josh Dobbs. I mean, he's playing with no names. And he's
I mean, what, Hollywood Brown and Zach Ertz is like the only guys I can think of, really.
Zach Ertz just went on the IR.
Oh, him too, and James Conner's on the IR.
It's not, but I gotta respect it because Josh Dobbs doing everything he can out there.
And they traded for him, and everyone's like, "What the hell are you doing?" He's been like good. Like I had the Cardinals in like the 20s, the late 20s for me because I was like, look, this team covers the spread. For the beginning of the year, they were leading every game they were in at some point. Like they were tanking very efficiently. As a guy that's watched a lot of tanks for my lifetime, it's a pretty nice tank.
They're doing a great tank. They're 1-6 right now. They only have 1 win, but they're competitive.
I think they're like 5-2 against the spread.
That was it. Good teams win, great teams cover.
Yes, and the craziest thing is, like, as of like literally 20 minutes ago, Kyler Murray is fully practicing, so he's already back a bit earlier than I expected. I don't know if they're going to play him because again, Dobbs is not playing terribly.
Yeah. I mean, come on, it's Josh Dobbs. It's the Josh Dobbs
What do you
show.
expect, man?
Yeah, the fact that they got a win is incredible. He might be a great backup quarterback going
Yeah.
forward. Yeah, I mean, he's capable of coming in and winning a game. But that's pretty much all I can say on the Arizona Cardinals because it's the Arizona Cardinals. So
Got a lot of picks. A lot of picks coming up.
at 29, we have actually Miami bought this franchise a few weeks ago. Real estate in their brains for the rest of their lives. So this is the Denver Broncos. What a hilarious downfall for this team. I mean, come
Can
on.
we apologize to Hackett? Can we apologize
Yes,
to him yet?
Nathaniel Hackett, we are sorry because that was that game. First of all, I'm gonna because I didn't get to talk about that game. That game was the best football game I've ever watched in my entire life. I'm not even the biggest fan of just blow out every team. Like, yeah, that's great. Like, this is a great game. No, it's not. It's gonna be boring. That was awesome. I mean, every play was just like, okay, we get a handoff. We're taking it to the end zone. Amazing. But yeah, the Broncos are not very good. Sean Payton has eaten his words. I mean, they got 2 wins. Russell Wilson, man, what the heck has happened to this guy? This is a Super Bowl champion we're talking about. And I don't know what has transpired over the last few years, but it's not pretty. And the whole team is just they look defeated. They are defeated. Sean Payton is struggling. I don't know if he even likes Russell Wilson, and I feel like that trade for the Seahawks might be one of the best trades in their side and one of the worst trades ever on the other side. I mean, they got rid of Russell Wilson. You got great draft picks. They got a great young team in Seattle too. Gino started playing. He's playing better than Russ, I think, or at least from the start of last season to right now. But yeah, the Broncos tough. At 28. Oh, do you have anything to say about the Broncos?
They're just trading. I think it's like kind of like a trade everyone thing. I don't even think there's any outs, or there's not many outs in this Russell Wilson thing. I don't know. It seems like Sean Payton didn't want Russell Wilson, but then why would you take the job? I don't know. They at least got their pick. Like there's a few, like that's kind of the difference between them and the Panthers is they at least have their pick.
Yeah, and I mean we've seen it. How long will our franchises make bad decisions, and it's going to
Right.
cost us. I mean, the Dolphins passed on Drew Brees. Like
You know.
that's sickening. So everyone goes through it. They already got their Super Bowl with Manning, so I'm not gonna hear them cry a lot. So, but yeah, tough one for the Denver Broncos this year. At 28, we have the Chicago Bears, and boy, what an interesting football team. Like, I think they're good sometimes, and I think they're one of the worst teams ever a lot of the time. I loved how what's his name Tyson Bagent or Bagent. He comes in D2 football player, drops 30 points on the Oakland Raiders. Like tough, 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 tough to be the Oakland Raiders, right? Or the Las Vegas Raiders. I apologize.
Yeah. I mean, hey, they got a date with the Motor City Monday Night Football this week, so that'll be fun.
Oh, is that so? They're playing Detroit.
Monday Night Football, baby.
I haven't looked at like the complete schedule for this week. All I know is Miami plays the Patriots.
Yeah, we're Monday Night Football, and we're busting out the throwback helmets. So
Nice.
it's
That
weird,
that
weird jersey combo, but we'll get into it later.
whatever Detroit is favored by, they're winning because they are so due after last week. But Chicago. Get to them later. But Chicago is what are your thoughts on Justin Fields? I like to hear your point of view first.
I don't know what happened. Okay, I'm a Michigan fan, very clearly, obviously, in college. He was one of the better quarterbacks I've ever seen play against my team, and I've seen a lot of really good Ohio State quarterbacks, unfortunately, on my time. He never had to like run, and then I don't know. He just went to the NFL, and I don't know if it's the. I mean, obviously, we've seen none of the Ohio State quarterbacks have done very well. I mean, obviously, Stroud's doing okay now, but Like, I don't know if the system is just so easy for them in college that they just don't get it, but there's so many things you watch him, like, just missing wide open guys and deciding to run instead of passing open dudes. It makes no sense. And then again, yeah, Badgett comes in and you win. It's just weird.
Yeah, and it's just he. I've said this for years. I do not like running quarterbacks. I don't even want to like. I hate that.
And he never was. He never was in college. It was
Yeah,
so
you're
weird.
right. Well, he probably realized he got to the NFL and like, holy,
Uh-oh.
like this.
I don't think maybe he didn't even have to run at Ohio State. I guess could be the way you could say that.
Yeah, that's true. Well, you got to think you're playing NFL players. That is a different caliber of a defensive player on any sort of level. So, but then again, then Tyson Bagent comes in, he drops 30 points. Like, and I know they had a pick six, but still, you still beat the Oakland or the Las Vegas Raiders, and it's a win at home.
Yeah, we're playing the Raiders on Monday night. I messed that up. My apologies.
The Raiders on Monday night. Well,
Yeah,
the
my
Raiders are even
apologies.
more hilarious to watch because you just root against them. Number 27, the New England Patriots. I do not care that the Buffalo Bills lost to them. That is a classic Buffalo game. I've seen too many of them not to be like, oh, jeez, like, what are you doing? The New England Patriots are a terrible, terrible football team this year. I saw a terrible gritty from Mike Gesicki, even though I like Mike Gesicki. I saw I don't know what from Mac Jones, but the New England Patriots are not good. They surprisingly won a game against the Buffalo Bills. I don't know how they pulled that off. The Bills are just not the Bills right now. And I really, really, really think they're bad. Now, that's coming from they lost to Miami by 7 points at home. That game was we let them hang around. We should have had. I think we had 2 missed field goals. We had that missed field goal on the last possession that gave them an opportunity to even have a chance. That should have been over. Like New England's bad, and they're going to be playing at home against Miami. They're going to move to 2-6, and pretty darn confident in that. They're just not. They're Mac Jones is not it. First of all, 2. It starts there. The defense is not bad for them. The defense is never going to be bad for them with Belichick. They're going to have a good scheme, but the offense is horrible. Can you name their top wide receiver on their team?
I mean, I think they wanted it to be Juju Smith-Schuster, but I would have to say it's Kendrick Bourne. I mean, that's kind of what it is, but it's gross and it's weird because like obviously Mac isn't great, but he doesn't have a lot around him either. I think both things can be true. I think he's got a bad support system, but it's still he's not it.
Yeah, but like he doesn't even have anyone. Like they did this last year where they didn't even have an offensive coordinator. They had a defensive coordinator running the offensive coordinator, and I heard it one time. I forget where it's like I think Belichick is trying to like make the game harder because he's won so much. I don't know. I might believe that. So like, why isn't there help to that man in the back, like on offense? Because even if it was Juju Smith-Schuster, Juju Smith-Schuster has not been good for a while, and he wasn't like he was elite on the Chiefs last year. He was average. There's no help.
And like Ramondre fell off a cliff. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that one's biting me in the rear end in my fantasy league. But yeah, Ramondre Stevenson, get your act
Yeah.
together, man. You're
Your
killing
marquee free agent signings were what? Zeke Elliott and TikTok?
me.
Juju Smith-Schuster? I
Zeke
don't know,
is
man.
tough.
Yeah, you let Jacoby Myers walk because he's bad and he's eating this year. Okay.
Yeah, Jacoby Myers having a great year. It's impressive. Number 26, we have the Las Vegas Raiders, and they are not good. I feel bad for Josh Jacobs. I feel bad for Max Crosby. I feel bad for Devontae Adams. I feel bad for the Raiders fans. I just, man, there's nothing much to talk about them. I mean, they signed Jimmy G. Jimmy G, we knew what we were getting from Jimmy G, and then he goes down, and now it's Brian Hoyer, and
Aiden O'Connell.
like it's not good. He's
Josh
gonna,
Jacobs goes from leading rusher in the league to can't get a first down.
yeah. And there's some what that he was demanding a trade before the season started.
And then he gets a contract and then changes his number and he seems he's fine and then everything sucks. Devontae Adams seems like he's always mad.
Devontae Adams should leave that team as soon as he can.
Openly hated Jimmy Garoppolo, when he got named starter. He was like, this guy sucks. Something weird's going on, man.
Yeah, that's what I said. When you sign Jimmy G, you know exactly what you're getting. You're getting a guy that's can win you the game at some points. We've seen it, and he can also cost you the game, and he can also lose the game before it even has a chance. So the Raiders are just the Raiders. At 25, I have the Tennessee Titans. Dude, they need to figure out a quarterback ASAP.
I think Will Levis starting this week.
I hope so. I mean, Malik Willis. I can't even explain what happened to Malik Willis. I thought he was a solid quarterback in college, and then last year we saw him not throw a pass down the field, and then he's still on the team. He comes into the game. They got one Tannehill, Dolphin alum right there. I he's just not it, and it's been not it. I mean, Derrick Henry is a beast still, and he's massive and he's hard to tackle, but you need a quarterback. You need a quarterback to win a Super Bowl in this league. I don't know the last time a team didn't have a quarterback, made it to the Super Bowl and won it.
Yeah, they traded their best defensive player, or second best behind Simmons. They traded the Killian Bard, whatever, Byard Bird,
Yeah.
the Eagles. Like that kind of shows a lot there. Tajay Spears, their draft pick out of Tulane, the running back, is kind of an all like a Swiss Army knife type thing, but kind of reminds me of a little bit of Jahmyr Gibbs sort of thing. But Henry's getting up there. They openly tried to trade him last year. Nothing really happened. I think they're going to try to do the same this year. They need a hard reset, and I don't know if Vrabel makes it through it, but we'll see. Because those Titans teams, man, it's just they're almost like the Steelers light, where it's like they're always right around 500. Like I feel like the Titans just live at 7-9 and 9-7. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, Vrabel's a solid coach. The defense is always going to play when you got like a defensive-minded head coach. It's just the offense isn't there, man, and it's just they're 2-4 or 2-5 now. They had a bye, I think, so there might be one less, but yeah, they're not good. We got the Green Bay Packers coming in at 24. Really disappointing to see the Green Bay Packers this year because right out of the gate, I was like, oh, Jordan Love, we have another one. And
I have no complaints.
Yeah, I would probably have no complaints either. But just I was kind of interested to see. I'm like, do the Green Bay Packers just produce these quarterbacks? But no is the answer. And unless he turns it around, and I'm sure you don't want that, but I don't know. They're a little disappointing. I think they're in a rebuilding era. I mean, they've had a golden years of Favre and then Rodgers. I mean, you can't really ask for more than that as a franchise. So, and maybe some more Super Bowls from Rodgers, but it is what it is. But yeah, the Packers, I think they're rebuilding. They're not the worst team in the league. They're certainly not close to average, but they'll get back together, and I feel like in a few years. Coming in at number 23 is the Washington Commanders. And the Washington Commanders are fun to watch.
I agree.
I think they're a great to watch team. I think Sam Howell gets back there and he just starts gunslinging it like he's got nothing to lose. And I love that. So they're a fun team. I said I thought their defense would be better.
Yeah, so obviously they got the really good D line, but I think that everything around it is a little bit off. They drafted Emmanuel Forbes in the first round. He's been pretty tough. He got healthy scratched already in his career. That's kind of crazy. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think they'll be another. What is it? 8-9, 9-8 team where they'll win games and then they'll lose ones they shouldn't. So, I mean, it looks like Ron Rivera is just like grooming Eric Bieniemy to like just take over as head coach. That's what it looks like to me too on that. So I don't know. Commanders are the Commanders, and they're a solid middle of the road football team. At number 22, we have the Los Angeles Chargers, and I don't get the Chargers. They're really talented. I mean, they have Justin Herbert, Austin Eckler. They had Mike Williams until he got hurt. Classic. Keenan Allen. Like, they got talent there. I don't know why they can't put it together. I think it's coaching, but I also think that franchise just might be cursed. I don't know. It's really, what's crazy to me is they don't have a home game. They have no home games ever. No, but like every time I go there, or not go there, every time I watch like an LA Chargers game, I hear the away team's crowd roaring about 30 times louder than the home crowd. Like, I don't get that. They're, I think, a really inconsistent team, and that's gonna always hurt. I think Justin Herbert is good. I don't know why people are saying like it's Justin Herbert's man, he did all this. I think he's a gunslinger, and he's gonna, like, people make mistakes at the end of the game. He cost his team the game. I don't think that's the last time that'll ever happen in Justin Herbert's career. It just, I think people like to just beat up on the guy because it's the Chargers and it's hilarious to make fun of him.
It's so weird because they're just such an exceptionally unbelievable team on paper, and then it just never works.
It
Like
never
that Jaguars game, I'll never forget in the playoffs. I mean, what was it, 28-0 at halftime, or 27-0 at halftime?
27-0 at half.
Oh my god!
I remember I was in Buffalo at a bar for that, and if I was a Chargers fan there, I think I would have been thrown out of the bar. I would have thrown something at the TV.
Something bad.
You can't blow a 27-point lead. I don't know. I'd sleep the next night. So I mean, it's just like you said. They have incredible talent, and they're never. Why aren't they up there? They have a very good team. So it is what it is. Number 21, we have the Indianapolis Colts, and Anthony Richardson was. Anthony Richardson was excellent when he was playing.
He was balling, man. It makes me so sad.
He was, but he also was like a seeking an injury. He got injured.
He's got to learn how to play in the league, man. He's just diving head first.
Yeah,
it's like young Cam Newton. Just like, don't take those hits, man.
Yeah. So and he was playing really well. Like he was playing well. He's really fun to watch. I don't think having Gardner Minshew in your back pocket is bad. I think you still got Jonathan Taylor, who we saw last week, gets it back together. Who's that Alec Pierce guy?
So he was on the Cincinnati team that made that big run. So he was the main receiver for that team. So he was kind of like one of the big. He's Desmond Ritter's number one target. Dude's like 6'3", plays like a slot receiver, but he's big.
Yeah, he's been making, like, I think 2 weeks ago he made an incredible one-handed catch, and then last week he had a catch. I don't know if it was like in a jump ball or it was just this guy can catch the football. And you still got Michael Pittman there. I think that team is good. They have a good defense. I don't know how far they'll go just because you have Gardner Minshew, but I like where the Colts are heading right now. You get Anthony Richardson back probably next season, and you teach him how to stay healthy. It's can be hard, but I think that team's going in the right direction. I don't know your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, you got your pick. You're gonna be able to tank with a good young quarterback. I think that you can add another weapon to it or something, and I think that this future is pretty good for this team. I mean, Minshew's even been doing well, so
That's what I'm saying. Like Minshew's a great backup to have. Like you don't know what you're getting. You also are playing a backup quarterback, so you're not expecting much. So, like, unless you're me last year, where I expected Teddy Bridgewater to come in and play football, and he did not want to do that. But besides that, you're not expecting much. At 20, we have the New Orleans Saints. And this is a pretty interesting one because you had Derek Carr, and Derek Carr was really, really angry in that last game at Chris Olave. And I don't know if there's just some off the field stuff or some locker room issues that are going on. I don't know. He's not playing well. I remember Carr on the Raiders. He would just air it out sometimes downfield. I don't think he's doing that much or doing that much this year. So it's interesting to see. They're really boring to watch. I elect to just like turn it. The only time I watch the Saints are like when they're on the red zone. Like I can't watch that team. They're really hard to watch. Number 19, the Rams. The Rams, a little. You can't really complain as the Rams because they did go all in that year to win the Super Bowl, and they won the Super Bowl, so they got what they wanted. And now I think they're just kind of dealing with the consequences of going all in on a team. But at the end of the day, you got your ring, and that's good. So I don't know. I think Stafford's still a great quarterback. I mean, Cup is electric. Nakua, Puka Nakua, man, what a year! Guy's unbelievable.
Had his best game pretty much yet with Cooper on the field. It's crazy.
That guy's electric. I don't know why, but like
super injury prone at BYU. Everyone kind of hyped him up as like he was like the nerds' number one guy, and they're like, he's the next guy. He's the next guy, and it's like this dude's always hurt. He played like 6 games. Well, sometimes nerds are right, man.
Yeah, he's good, and he's really good. And he's having a hell of a year. I'm shocked. When I first saw like people were starting to talk about, I'm like, who the hell is Puka Nakua? And then you keep seeing him, and you're like, oh, this guy's unbelievable. Like and Stafford is also going to air that thing out if he wants. Nakua had that catch last week that was incredible, and Stafford throwing into double coverage. That's great. That's great. Like, he's going to give his wide receivers a chance. I like that. I mean, he's got 2 guys that are unbelievable in Nakua and Cup. I just think they're an average team right now. And I was so confused with this Sean McVay retiring thing. Does he just not care anymore? Or does he not want to coach? What was that all about? Because
I think he was having a kid. He got to have his kid, and he's like, "Look, I've already, done a lot. I won a Super Bowl super early." He got a huge offer from what's it called? What do you call him? Amazon. Sorry, to be like a Thursday night guy, and it is what it is. I think he was just kind of like flirting with it, so maybe he'd get some more support or something. I don't know what the move was, but I guess he was legit thinking about it, and he actually gave birth. Well, not he, but he now has a child. It was born, I think, earlier this afternoon. So,
all right. Well, yeah, I think the Rams are just average. I don't know. I don't know. They're not the what's it called? 2021 Rams? Is that when they won it? I think so. 2022. I don't know. Coming in at 18, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are awesome. I love Baker Mayfield. And I like how he just goes to a team and it's just like, because the Buccaneers should not be good. They just lost Tom Brady. Like that, usually after that, your franchise is like, okay, we're done. Brady came here, got us the Super Bowl. How can we be upset? And we'll kind of just deal with it until we find the next opportunity. I like what Baker's doing. It's I think he's a great locker room guy. Like people like him when he comes to play football for him. He's throwing it down to Mike Evans, which I appreciate because Mike Evans is on my fantasy team. Um, but yeah, they're just one of those nitty gritty teams that it's gonna fight you. I'm interested to see how they play against the Bills because if they give it to the Bills, then I'll be the biggest Baker Mayfield fan on earth. So I don't know. I don't think they're a crazy good team, but they are certainly a good team.
Yeah, solid defense that still is kind of around. Again, you got some weapons. They were one of those teams where I was like, they could just do a quick tank, a 1 year, suck for a year, grab one of the top rookie quarterbacks, and be like right back in it. So it'd be interesting to see if they try to not buy, but like minor buy, and then like not totally sell the deadline, because I think that you could still get a little bit from Mike Evans out of him. I mean, dude's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, and Mike Evans is one of the most consistent football players of all time. I think that has to be. This guy has like 1,000 yards in how many straight seasons?
8 or 9.
Yeah, that's incredible. He's got to be considered one of the most consistent football players. You know exactly what you're getting from Mike Evans, and that's hard to find in this world. So, yep. At 17, we have the Minnesota Vikings, and they are. I think we'll figure it out. What, they're 3-4 now?
Yeah, big win
Right?
last night, obviously.
Huge, huge. I did not see that coming. And Kirk Cousins, he has no help, and Kirk is dealing right now, and he's playing really well. And he won a primetime game against one of the best defenses in the league. And they're the Vikings, so I don't know. Like last year was so like you could see that coming from a mile away. Like they'd have no point differential. They're negative on that side. They are winning games barely. Okay, they're gonna lose in the playoffs. And what do you know? On fourth and 10, we throw a check down, and that's a terrible way to lose. So like I can see the Vikings. This is my prediction for the Vikings. They're gonna go 9-8 right there. 9-8 from the Minnesota Vikings. And I don't know, what are your thoughts on that?
They're weird. Like, they have the roster that they should be doing good, right? And obviously 500 is not bad, but I mean they started bad. They're beating some bad teams, obviously not last night, but Kirk Cousins is still serviceable enough. It seems like they've been trying to move on from him. Like I know they said they were going to want to like trade up and get other people, but I think it was like Will Levis in particular they wanted to trade up and get into. They are involved in trying to get Trey Lance. I mean, they clearly don't like Kirk Cousins. I don't know why. I mean, dude's fine. I don't think he's the problem at all. But they're just I had them the whole year, my whole bit on the here doing my power rankings. I've had them right next to the Chargers. I'm like, they're pretty much the same version of each other. Like they should be good, and it makes no sense they're not. So who
Well,
knows?
they got really once Jefferson's back, Addison and Jefferson is a dynamic duo right there.
Yeah, and then you got Hawkinson over the middle. Madison's okay. You got Cam Akers, who's all right as well. I mean,
I
they've
don't
got
like
some
Cam
weapons,
Akers.
dude.
I've have had issues with Cam Akers on my
Well, the
fantasy.
Rams had issues with Cam Akers. That was the whole point.
He was an insult to me.
Dude came back from like a torn ACL. I think it was either an ACL or an Achilles in the same season and played in the playoffs. And then they treated him like crap. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, he played amazing in the playoffs, and I'm like, oh, I'm drafting this guy. No. So the Vikings will be the Vikings, like you said. They're similar to the Chargers. You don't know what you're getting from them. Like they just beat the 49ers. All right, number 16, the Atlanta Falcons. I think the Atlanta Falcons are going to win their division. and not be great in the playoffs, but I think they're going to win their division because they got a really good, talented team. I don't know the deal with Desmond Ritter yet because is this his like first season, like true season? You're going down.
I
You're
think
going.
so. No Desmond Ritter for me, please.
Well, I'm not saying he's going to be great, but I just don't know if I can judge him yet. Like it's his first season, he might be able to turn it around, but he's also not off to a tremendous start. That I will say that one, I'll give him benefit of the doubt on the one fumble where the safety for the Bucks came like flying in. He thought he had a walk-in touchdown and fumbled it out on the 1 yard line, which is terrible, but it is what it is. Not the crazy, like they're kind of boring because they don't score a lot of points, but they're also in these games. So like you play to your strengths. And I think that's what teams need to start learning. If they're not a crazy good team, just start limiting the amount of possessions that each team has. That's a great way to slow down a good offense. So we'll see, but nothing crazy. Bijan's sick last week, which was
screwed everyone over.
Yeah, that was hilarious. I played against
the craziest part. They gave him his first carry with like 30 seconds left. Well, and that meant all of his bets counted. I don't know.
That doesn't make any sense. Like he didn't play the game all. Was he sick with like the flu? Is that like what it was, or is it just like a? Yeah, head.
I think he had a migraine. I think is what he said.
Okay, that might be tough in football because you're getting hit in the head.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't play. So.
Yeah, nor do I. But I have to believe that would be number 15. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I'm shocked. The
perfectly mediocre.
Yeah, I shouldn't be that surprised because Tomlin rarely he knows how to make things work. Was last year his first non-winning season ever, or did they go 5?
No, they went 9-8.
They went 9-8. Like it's crazy. This guy doesn't like to lose. So, I think they have a great defense, and that's going to win them their games. The offense is just really it's just something's off tempo or whatever. It's not good. But they have a great defense, so that's gonna keep them going. Like you said, perfectly average. I don't know if you want to throw anything in on the Steelers, but they're pretty boring.
Again, TJ Watt is just carrying this team. Like I always compare this team to NFL Iowa, right? Like they have pretty good special teams. Their defense is unbelievable. It's always flying downhill. You got like Minka running around the back there. You got TJ Watt holding it down up front, and the offense is just you want to die. Najee Harris is falling off a cliff. He can't run more than 2 yards. Kenny Pickett.
What is wrong with Najee Harris, man?
I think it's just workload. I mean, the dude was averaging 20, 25 carries his first 3 or 4 seasons, and now he's not getting a deal. He's probably not motivated. That's just my guess. I mean, they're running these poor kids into the ground. Like, at least Dave Montgomery's on a 3-year deal getting ran into the ground. Like, Najee Harris, they declined his option. So.
Yeah, and it's not looking good for him either, though. He looks just like he's a little, like, he's a step behind. Like, he's not running with a lot of aggression. This is the guy who was jumping over people. So, like, I think you might be right. He might not be motivated to play football. But, like, at the end of the day, we don't know. Like, they didn't give an option. But, like, still, isn't that a time where you'd be like, okay, you're not going to give me an option. Let me show you why another team is. So, I don't know. The Steelers defense will carry them. They'll be the Steelers. Number 14, we have the Houston Texans. And I really like the Houston Texans. They are fun to watch. I can't believe I'm saying that about an Ohio State quarterback, but CJ Stroud is balling right now. And I think I was a big D'Amico Ryans fan when he was in San Fran last year because like San Fran's defense was just so fun to watch last year. And now he goes to the Houston Texans, and they're not Stroud. This is my thing though. Stroud has no one. Stroud has
Nico Collins.
No, Stroud has Nico
Collins, Michigan man. You watch your mouth.
Nico Collins and Tank Dell, and he's going off. That does not make sense to me.
Dalton Schultz, Noah Brown, getting healthy.
We'll see. They're not top tier caliber players at the end of the day.
I would agree.
And the guy is playing really well.
Yeah, he's breaking the curse finally.
And good for him, because at the end of the day, he seems like a likable guy. So that's always good. But it's shocking. I didn't think this team would have a win right now, and they're sitting at 500. So the Texans could be a team to watch in the future. They're going to be on it. They're on a good track right now. You give them another receiver, who knows? Or you just ride Nico Collins and Tank Dell and see what happens. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on the Texans?
Yeah, I mean it's the CJ Stroud team that turns it around, and I think you compare them to everyone had them as the worst team in the NFL, right? They have no first round pick this year, but they spent it on Will Anderson, who's playing very well, and they've got what's it called? Not Nico Collins, CJ Stroud, who's playing very well as well. And it's like, look, they took their 2 picks, they got 2 picks, they did their thing, they went all in on their guy. I don't even know if it was their guy or not, but their backup option, and then it seems like every time you get a pick between 2 quarterbacks, the second one's almost always better. I don't know. It's weird. But you have that. And then, you have enough capital still. I know you don't have a first round pick this year. You have the Browns pick, not your own. So you at least still have a pick. But you invested in D'Amico Ryans, the great coordinator coming from San Fran, when they got a good defense starting to, form itself out there. I mean, they were supposed to win 2 or 3 games. I think they've already hit their over total on the wins. I mean, obviously not that low, but people had them penciled in, being like, oh, wow, the Cardinals are going to pick 1 and 2 because the Texans are the worst team in the league. As Lee Corso would say, not so fast, my friend. They're looking good. So, shout out the Ohio State guy. Listen, I always said it's a funny joke with him being good as a Michigan fan, because it's like, he's the only one that couldn't beat us. So, whether or not those wins even count anymore, will yet to be seen. But, hey, listen, he's doing his thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to see D'Amico and doing well. That's all I'll say. Number 13, we have the New York Jets. And the New York Jets are a surprise as well. I thought Rodgers goes down. I get to see the Jets be terrible. I would be happy. I don't have to worry about them 2 weeks of the year. And now the Jets are like, no, hold on. We are fighting. We're going to fight until they can. And I got a lot of respect for them, because they could easily just throw in the hats this year and be like, Rodgers went down. I don't care. But they're fighting, and they have a phenomenal defense. And similar to the Steelers, that's going to get them to where they want to be. The offense is not going to be there unless Rodgers is back. I think Zach Wilson has improved a little, but it's still Zach Wilson, and I'm okay with saying he's not great or not good. It might be bad.
It's weird because he's stuck in a system that's obviously not built for him at all. The whole team is so good except the quarterback. I almost feel bad for the Jets. I know you don't because they're in your division, but Breece Hall is an animal. Garrett Wilson's an animal. That defense is unbelievable. I mean, they just beat the Eagles. Man, imagine with Rodgers, this team would be unbelievable, man. I cannot even imagine it, man.
And this is what confuses me about them, is why aren't they running the football more?
And why don't they run the right guys? For a while there, this is the great stat. I forgot which. I think it was during the Broncos game. They had the stat that Breece Hall led all running backs in yards per carry, and Dalvin Cook was last in all running backs in yards per carry, and they had the same amount of carries. That's what are we doing here? I mean, Breece Hall is good for a 30-yard rush every game. He is like Devin Achane sort of type vibes. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think that comes down to you signed Dalvin Cook. One, I couldn't believe they signed Dalvin Cook because they had Breece Hall. That just comes down you paid the guy. You gotta use him. I get where you're coming from, and I'm happy they're paying the guy, because they're gonna have to play him, because it should be give it to Breece Hall and let the man run because he's electric. But Why did they sign Dalvin Cook? That's
He
hilarious.
should have been good, but I mean, it just sucks that these running backs are just proving the other guys right that this is why you don't pay running backs. It just sucks.
Yeah, they're very replaceable. It's just a replaceable position.
Unfortunate as it is.
But the Jets, they come in at 13. At number 12, a weird team this year, the Cincinnati Bengals. And still, like, I think they're coming around. They'll probably be good by the end of the year. Just a really weird start to the season. Really strange. I get it. Burrow wasn't completely healthy, but really strange start. I didn't even know if there was some freaking locker room issues going on. I was so confused watching them. I don't like their offense still, but you have Joe Burrow, and hopefully he turns it around. I think I don't know about you, but that's how I view the Bengals right now. I think they're going to be good. I think it'll take some time, but they'll figure it out.
Yeah, he's obviously a lot more injured than we thought it was. It's just such a weird thing. I'm with you. It makes no sense. So I don't know.
Figure it out. They'll figure it out. At 11, we have the Cleveland Browns. And the Cleveland Browns have a great defense. I don't know. Well, we all know what happened to Deshaun Watson. The guy is not who he was. Simple as that.
He got cleared from concussion protocol, and they still benched him for PJ Walker.
Yeah, he's just
that's nuts.
Like it's kind of all. I mean, karma's coming around, and it comes down to that. And he's not who he was on the Texans, and I think everything that happened with him is just really rolled over. And now the Browns are they're lucky they have a great defense, because if they won, they would be horrible. And it's tough to see Nick Chubb go down, because they're really not bad this year at all. And even with the quarterback struggles, I mean, they signed Kareem Hunt back. Who is that? Jerome Ford? He's not bad either. I think they just have a great offensive line too. But yeah, I think they're a above average team. The defense will get them to where they want to be. I certainly am not afraid of the Browns in any way, but they could beat a team. They could beat any team, I think, on any given Sunday. That's how I feel.
Yeah, they remind me of the Jets, kind of the same thing. But I mean, and they had freaking Nick Chubb explode. I mean, this team is Myles Garrett. He's something else. He's something else.
He's a beast.
Him and friggin' TJ Watt are just carrying those two lifeless teams to the finish line.
Yeah, and I think the Browns are 4-2. I think they're 4-2. It's incredible.
Yeah, beating the Niners. I mean, obviously it looks a little bit worse now, but still, you beat the Niners.
You still beat the Niners. Niners are one of the best teams in the league, even after.
Yeah, that defense will give anyone fits.
The last 2 weeks. Coming in at number 10, we have the Seattle Seahawks, and they're a lot of fun to watch. I think they're really young, and Geno is not as he was last year, but not bad, and they're winning. They're gonna get a playoff spot or a wild card spot, and they're gonna see what happens. That's kind of how I view them, but they're good. Definitely one of the better teams in the league, and they got a lot of talent. I think it's they have Lockett and Metcalf, and Metcalf didn't play last week, but they were playing the Cardinals, so it didn't really matter. But those two are great on the outside. It's polar opposites. It's great to watch. You got a guy who's 6'4", 250, huge, and then you got Tyler Lockett, who's probably barely 5'10", and he just sprinting down the field. So, yeah, I think Seattle, they'll be in the playoffs, and I don't know how far they'll go, but they're definitely similar to, like I said, with the Browns. They can beat any team on any given Sunday. They can also lose to any team on any given Sunday, I think. Maybe not like the Panthers, but one of those below average teams.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. They're another team where they have like this slow offense. They love like the tight ends. They haven't really been using DK Metcalf much. They finally got Jackson Smith and Jigba involved again. Another really good Ohio State player, of course, a receiver, coming out. And Jamal Adams is finally back. He was out for like over a year. I know he got hurt like his first play back
Yeah,
against the Giants, but they got interesting going there. I mean, again, you kind of mentioned earlier with the Russell Wilson trade. Yeah, they definitely won it. At the time, we're all like, they definitely won it.
they that'll be the best trade in their franchise's history. Look at
Yeah,
where
I would say.
the Cowboys are right now. They are horrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, coming in at 9, we have the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas is a sneaky team. I think they'll compete with that. Like they got blown out by the 49ers. I think they'll come back. If they ever face them again, they'll probably compete a lot better next time.
Hopefully, it's been a bit of a trend.
Yeah, yeah, but I'm not saying they'll win. But I think they'll be back. I think they got. I mean, Dak is not the best quarterback, but I don't think he's the worst quarterback. He's not the worst guy you can have on your team. So I don't know. They're getting hit with injuries. They have what? No Trayvon Diggs. No. What's the linebacker's name? I'm blanking on it right now.
Van Der Esch.
Yeah, Leighton Vander Esch.
Mm-hmm.
But they lost him. I think Parsons is unbelievable. There is no doubt about that. That guy is scary. I don't know how I would react if that guy was running full speed at me. I think I would just fall down, but I have no idea. Yeah, but he's good. I think they'll make the playoffs and lose because that's what the Cowboys do. I don't know. They might win a game. They have Pollard, but I don't think Pollard's playing that well this year.
I think it's pretty obvious he's a out in space running back, and they're trying to make him run between the tackles. And I don't get why teams do this, man. Like Zeke was the guy that would work, and he'd get the offense moving, and then Pollard would come in on third down and go crazy. Like he needs a guy to go with him, and I don't know if you can find one out there. I don't even know trade for Saquon or something stupid like that. But
Do Spawn.
yeah, I understand, but dude's a midget. Like
No, but no, I'm joking.
well,
But
obviously, yeah. But
they,
CeeDee Lamb is still really good. They don't really have a super elite second option. I guess you could say Michael Gallup or Brandon Cooks, but I don't know, it's weird, man. The Cowboys should be good, and they're not. They're another one of those teams.
well, I think Dak gets overhyped. I think people go crazy because he's the Dallas Cowboys quarterback, and he's
I
getting.
don't think so. I think we've kind of jumped the shark there. I think it's a bit of a comeback to earth. He's still like a top, 15 quarterback, I would say, in the league. He's definitely above the median, right?
Yeah,
But people act like he's so bad. Like I think that he's not even hyped anymore. I think like the cool thing to do is to bash on him. I think he's still a very serviceable quarterback. Like I'd put him in a Jared Goff type role. Like I don't think he's really that
Jared
bad.
Goff's better than Jared
I
Goff.
would agree. But I think that they ask more of him in Dallas, and it puts him in bad spots.
Yeah, I should say that Dallas gets overhyped, and that's
Correct,
still
of course.
but that's going to happen. America's football team. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, this happens the nature of the game.
At number 8, Blake, we have the Buffalo Bills.
Okay.
And I don't know what is happening to the Buffalo Bills.
Can't run the football still.
Of course.
That's my quick answer. And your defense is old.
Their defense is getting throttled with injuries right now. I don't know what is happening. That London game has
every freaking play was a guy getting carted off.
Yeah, they're getting pummeled with injuries, and it's not great. But at the same time, you still have Josh Allen, and it comes down to
and Diggs.
Diggs. It's not the defense that is losing them these games. It really isn't. Say anyone can say the Patriots score what? No, it comes down to Josh Allen and the offense and Ken Dorsey upstairs trying to figure out what is going on right now. They, of course, they had to play their one great offensive game against the Miami Dolphins. Of course, of classic Bills. Then they can't play like. Why can't they play like the freaking like they did against the freaking Giants against us. We'd have blown that team out of the water. But no, Josh Allen's got to like
They
turn it
just,
on for the Dolphins game.
I think they play up to their competition and down to their competition. I think that's kind of what it is. I don't know. McDermott, I think they got to move on, man. I mean, everyone around here in Buffalo that talks to me about it, they're like, yeah, I don't know, man. It just makes no sense. And it's like you have to feed Diggs because like he's clearly something was going on with him behind the scenes, or he was like forcing a trade. Not really. I'm happy. I love it. No, I don't. I went out. He was going back and forth once a
These
day.
media guys are painting a picture and I'm
Yeah,
unfollowing. What are you
I
doing?
don't know, man. He's something's going on with this team, but they do have the talent where that's why they're still. I mean, I have them high too as well. Is where they can just click and make it work.
Yeah, it's just if they click. Now I'm actually wondering because I've been these guys around me are a little they're nervous right now, and I'm trying to say like over the past few weeks they didn't play well against the Jags. They barely beat the Giants. I'm telling them, I'm the one saying I'm like, yeah, you guys will be fine. Like you guys still have Josh Allen, the Buffalo. Like you guys have been good. You'll get to the playoffs. I still think they'll get to the playoffs. This team is nowhere where they should be or have been this year. They're 4-3. They're really beatable this year. The Bills in the past have been like, okay, maybe we can catch the Bills sleeping a week. Now I think anyone can beat the Bills. If you throw Josh Allen off his game, I think it's like the whole world starts crumbling for that team. And they don't have a run game. James Cook is good. I think James Cook is good. I do. I
Got to get him involved in the pass game.
Yeah, like he's good in space. I think they need a second receiver. I think Gabe Davis is not good.
He had one game, one
Yeah,
quarter.
why did he have to have that? So I think the Bills will turn it around. I don't know. I really am confused about them right now because they should be good. They got one of the best quarterbacks. You know what it is? I just remembered. Just remembered, Blake. Who's on the cover of Madden this year?
Oh,
It's simple as that.
he grew his hair out. He was dating Haley Steinfeld, the celebrity.
Yeah, I think after that stuff happened, he went downhill. But yeah, Madden curse, man, it's real. We've seen it before. It would be hilarious if the Bills started being bad. I don't think that will happen, but I would laugh. I'm sure as they would laugh at Miami. So fair enough. At number 7, hold on, just receiving a phone call. I had to decline. We got more important things at hand. At number 7, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are. I have ETN on my team. Oh my god, it's awesome.
Oh, Greta, what a line after the London game. He goes, "Damn, I played myself in fantasy this week." Love that.
Not good. Yeah, that was.
And look, at least Clemson fans, your season may suck, but at least you have your running back and your quarterback together, on the team. That's awesome.
Yeah, Lawrence is turning it around as they should. They're a good team. They're, I think, a really grit team. If that makes any sense.
Gritanalytics. You're able to have a good mix of grit and analytics because you got Peterson's obviously a genius when it comes to analytic stuff. So they go for 2 a ton. They do all that, like go for on 4th down, but they're also still a physical team. They can pick up the run when they need to. I think they're what the Bills want to be, I would say.
Peterson looks like he's like coaching his son's football team out there.
Oh, he's having a great time.
That's just why I'm like, it looks like he's like just coaching his kid and they're having a great time or going and giving him just after the game. But no, they're good. And the Jag wagon is real.
So bad division. I hope so.
Yeah. And number 5. Oh, I'm sorry.
6.
Number 6. We have the Miami Dolphins.
Whoa.
Yep. I told you I was going to be real. I am taking my bias out of everything. The Miami Dolphins are the 6th best team in this league. And I'll tell you why. The Miami Dolphins, one, are hurt right now. What people don't realize in that game is, and I don't like to blame injuries, but it is a fact, We're missing Xavier Howard. We're missing Jalen Ramsey. We're missing Teron Armstead. We lost David Long in that game. Like, there's a lot of injuries that are plays. We lost our left tackle, Isaiah Wynn. Like, this is it. Give me a game at home against a good team. For God's sake, I am begging you. All of our hard games are on the road. We have two hard, I guess, difficult games at home this year. Two. We have at home against the Dallas Cowboys, and I think we're going to smoke them. And then we have another home game against the Buffalo Bills, which will be a great game. And besides that, like, I am sick of playing good teams on the road. I think it's disgusting. I think it's unfair. I think it's bogus. And then I got this media that's, oh, the Dolphins are frauds. The Dolphins are good. They have not played their best football yet. And I'm telling you, once this team gets healthy and once we have a little more support on defense, I think we'll have a chance at like stopping teams. That Eagles game, man, that was really hard to watch. Miami did not show up. And that's the second time this year they haven't showed up in a big game. Not prime time they won against the Patriots, which I'll take. A win is a win.
Yeah.
But the two games have been the Bills and they've been the Eagles. And it's just like, what are we doing? And then I got to hear people saying we're frauds. No, we're not frauds. And I'll tell you why. It's because it's not like we're barely in it with these bad teams. That's when I think they're frauds. It's when we struggle to bring the same momentum into the big games. And it comes down to, I think, preparation. I don't know why we do this. This is probably I'm a big fan of Mike McDaniel. My only criticism is he gets into these modes where he starts abandoning the run game. And we ran 3 plays, 3 consistent run plays in a row to Hassan Reddick. And guess what Hassan Reddick did? He blew it up in the backfield and caused it for a loss. Run away from him. Run to the other side of the football field. If you see Hassan Reddick, line up on that side and the run's going there. Audible the play. What's it in Madden? X, LT, flip play. Do that. So yep. I was yelling at my TV, being like, run it away from him. And we're just not there yet. And we still have a few things to figure out, I think. So I think they'll get it together. The great news is we're 5-2 and we haven't played our best football yet. And that is something I can look forward to. I will say the refs were horrible in that last game. We still played like trash. I'm going to own that. Refs were horrible too. I've never seen the amount of phantom calls I was watching in that game. Christian Wilkins touches Jalen Hurts, and they called a 15-yard penalty on it. I was like, and then they scored the next play. Are you kidding me? But that's enough on the Dolphins. At 5, we have the Detroit Lions. And I am a huge fan of the Detroit Lions now, courtesy of Mr. Stackpool. But they're awesome to watch. And how can you not root for the Lions? How can you not?
Hey, listen, it's some people's only football team.
It's that they're fun and they're good. The Ravens game, that's a burn the tape game.
Look, Lions have lost 3 games in a calendar year, basically. All right. The Panthers, the Seahawks, and what's it called? The Ravens. The 2 middle ones are the 2 ones on the outside, the Ravens and the Panthers. We were down like 20 in the first quarter, and it was whatever. Seahawks or something else. But basically, most Lions losses the last few years, or last year, basically, is I at least can turn the TV off in the first quarter and know it's over. That game was something else, man. They had 14 first downs. We had 14 yards at one point, and it was 28-0 when we got our first down. So
it's a burn the tape game.
Something happened. Yeah, bury the tape as he does it. He likes to bury it, bury the football, things like that.
Bury the football.
It's one game, and I know when it went SOL afterwards, it's the sad nature of battered Detroit fans like myself, where nothing is ever going to happen. I mean, look at the college situation going on right now. You know, at any moment, outside forces can steal everything happy from you. So the Lions lose a game, and everyone's instantly back, and everything's bad. But again, this team's good. But continue.
I think the Lions are going that game does not even register in my brain. The Lions got caught sleeping.
Yeah, it was bye week. In the group chat, someone's like, "Wow, Lions getting smoked." I'm like, "We're playing? What happened?"
That's fair because frankly, like it doesn't matter really. Like I still think they're in a very good spot in the division. They should win it. I mean, the Vikings might give them a hard time, but at the end of the day, it's the Vikings. I think the Lions are a different football team. I think they have a. I love Dan Campbell. Goff is playing out of his mind. Amon-Ra St. Brown's great. I don't know why they don't use Jameer Gibbs, but the memes are hilarious. Um, yeah, I think they'll. I think this is a good year for them. I really do, and I'm not happy because it's the Lions and they're turning their freaking franchise around. It's good to
Love to see
see.
it. Yes.
All right, at 4 we have the Baltimore Ravens, and the reason for them being at 4 is because of how badly they beat your team last week.
They're a good team.
They're a good team. They're a good team, man. They are. They got Lamar Jackson. I don't think people talk about him that much.
I think more importantly, they got Todd Monken, coordinator of Georgia, really fixed this offense. Greg Roman just made Lamar run, and it was weird and gross. And Monken's really turned it on, man.
Yeah, and I love how the Ravens just use like every running back on their roster. Like they're just like, hey, you go in. We'll try it. Just so go in.
Bro, they had a screen to their fullback that went for like 40 yards. Okay. Who has a fullback anymore? The goddamn Harbaughs, man.
Alec Ingle, man. Dolphins.
I wish I had a Harbaugh still.
But what I'll say is we'll see. The Ravens got to stay healthy, and we'll see what they do. But
more importantly, Mars got to stay healthy.
Yeah, you're right. It comes down. It comes down to any team. Like if the quarterback's not healthy, then
yeah. But with him, it's been a bit of a theme,
Yeah. Or just late in the year, Lamar doesn't like the cold.
Well, I mean, when you weren't getting paid, I don't blame it, but we'll see. It's his first time with a contract and still playing, so.
Yeah, and he's playing well, and I think they'll be a very good team going forward. At number 3, we have the San Francisco 49ers, and what do you know? Brock Purdy is not the greatest quarterback of all time.
He's not Tom Brady? What do you mean?
He's not Mr. Irrelevant? No. Let's get back to reality. I am glad to see it because I will represent the Miami Dolphins in a proud way and say that he got lucky to play us in his first game. I'll go back to that. I think Brock Purdy is a system quarterback. I think he's lucky to be there in San Francisco with a phenomenal defense. They are still a Super Bowl contender because they have Christian McCaffrey. They have a fantastic defense. I would just like to say that Brock Purdy is not the greatest. We can call him Mr. Irrelevant. I can't wait for Sam Darnold to go in there. And this is my guess right here. This guy's going to throw for 260 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, no fumbles. They'll run the ball. But this guy's
going to run the ball too. Sam's got some wheels.
Yeah, he might take off and make a man miss. But then everyone's be like, so Brock Purdy, not that good. That's my prediction. I am going to be very interested to see how the 49ers play with Sam Darnold, just as a personal, maybe, and I took it personally. And no one beats the Miami Dolphins like that and not have a grudge with me. But fair enough.
For context, those of you who don't remember, Brock Purdy's first game was against the Dolphins.
Yes, it was, and I'll never forget it.
We watched it together. It was a nightmare.
It was terrible. It's terrible to watch score the first play. But we move on. At number 2, we have the Philadelphia Eagles. And I was considering putting them at 1. Um, the Jets loss is the only thing that kind of set me back because they gave the Jets the game.
Yeah, many times.
Hurts threw 3 picks and threw one at the very end, which is like you cannot throw. I don't know if it's not there, throw it away.
It was
Make Zach Wilson go to the field. I I don't know. They are definitely one of the best teams in the league, though. They're scary. I saw it firsthand. They have a really good defense, and they get pressure on your quarterback like that. Snaps off, they're coming in hot. I I I wish Miami had a front four like that. Not that I don't like our front four, but I'd like them to get pressure like the Philadelphia Eagles put pressure on a quarterback. So, I mean, AJ Brown is a beast. That guy's freak athlete. And Devonta Smith is good. Hurts is really good. The running back, Swift, he's been playing well this year. I don't think he did too crazy against Miami. I didn't check his stats. I was just watching the game, but he didn't do anything.
It was one of his worst games, but
Yeah.
I mean, as long as they have that play, it's all they need.
Yeah. So on that, like they'll be in contenders. They'll be a good team, and I think that 49ers Eagles game is going to be unreal.
Eagles got a pretty crazy schedule coming up. I think they play the Chiefs too.
Yeah, they have a tough schedule, but they handled the Dolphins, and I'm not dismissing that. Like they are significantly, or at least right now, they're significantly better than the Dolphins. But the Dolphins will throw some weird stuff at you. They got McDaniel cooking up stuff back there, and
Yeah,
they handled it really well. They controlled a high-powered offense, and I think they are a very good team. We'll see if Philly sports can get them a championship, though.
yeah. They got at Washington, which is they went to overtime with them last time.
Yep.
Then they've got Dallas at bye week at Kansas City, Buffalo, San Fran, at Dallas, at Seattle. That's a stretch.
That's a stretch right there. We'll see. But I think they'll still be contenders. They're too good not to be. What's it called? Sirianni runs a good team over there, and the tush push. I can't sit here and be like, oh, scumbags. Like, no, like they've found something that works.
Good for them.
Good for them. I hate them because of it. Because I had to watch that. Oh, 3rd and 1. Miami's making a stop. We stop them. I'm like, oh my God, yeah. 4th and inches. Well, we're bringing them right back out, and we're getting it.
I was losing my mind, man. I really was. Like me as a neutral, I'm like, it's just so dumb. You can't stop it. You literally can't do it.
Like it's annoying. It's just annoying because it's not illegal. It's not like they're bending the rules at all either. It's just obnoxious. I hate it. And I had to watch it happen to me 4 times. Oh my God. Like, stop. Call another play. Call a fullback run. I don't even care. We'll just give you the first down. But yeah, Eagles 2. Number 1, the only team left. Kansas City Chiefs.
Top 2 are the Super Bowl from last year. Still crazy.
Yeah. Well, just so happens that Patrick Mahomes is going to still be Patrick Mahomes. So they're very good. They have a good defense now too, which is really scary. So
yeah. I mean, what team beat him? That's crazy.
Yeah. Yep.
Hey, listen, Chiefs fans. I know we were beefing for a bit. We got your guy Chris Jones paid, so you watch your mouth.
Yeah. And the Chiefs are, I think they're beatable because they're not, it's thank God they don't have Tyreek Hill anymore. Could you imagine?
Can you imagine, dude?
Could you imagine how dangerous that team would be?
I mean, now they got the media conglomerates on their side with Taylor Swift. I mean, everyone wants them to win, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I will say Taylor Swift and Brittany Mahomes had one of the cringiest handshakes I've ever seen in my entire
And then
life.
Jackson Mahomes got in at the end.
Oh,
He's back.
it was so cringy. My skin was crawling. Like, just don't do that, please. I personally have no problem with Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce. Once they start doing handshakes, I'm like, okay, let's take it down a notch here. No, we don't need that. But yeah, the Chiefs are the number one team. It's hard to say. Not
There
a
we
big
have it. Yeah. Any forward-thinking predictions before we get out of here for this week?
forward-thinking predictions for this week or in like the long run.
Whatever you want to do.
For this week, I will say, watch out for the Buccaneers against the Bills on Thursday Night Football. If the
And I think it'll be a
Bills,
massive bounce back too from, I would say, the Dolphins and Lions. I think have a big bounce back.
yep. Oh, Dolphins, we are
Hammer time.
we are killing the.
You're at home, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's going to be a beatdown. We've never had a problem with the Patriots. We're going to handle them like we have for the last few years, and it's at home. Like, it's Lions, expect big things. You said they're playing the Raiders.
Monday Night Football, Raiders. They're gonna do the throwbacks. Every celebrity will be out for that game. So
Yeah. Speaking about throwbacks, I have one thing to add. Why the hell didn't Miami wear their throwbacks on Sunday night?
throwback off.
Why don't they do that? Like, we could have worn our white throwbacks. It would have been great with the Kelly green. No, you just gotta wear the Kelly
Listen,
green.
man, you look at. I always remember the Michigan versus Notre Dame game. Both teams wore throwbacks, and the refs had the throwbacks on too. That game was
That's what we need. That's what we need.
the refs had the damn fedoras, and they had like the clogs on. It was crazy.
Future prediction right here. I'm gonna guess not only the Miami Dolphins record, but I'm gonna guess the Detroit Lions record here. 17 games. We're going to go with Miami. We are going to be 13-4. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. The Detroit Lions. I'm going to go 12-5.
Hey, I'll take it. It.
And we're both going to be number one in our divisions. That is my prediction. So we'll see. We will see. But I'd like to say thank you, Mr. Stackpool, for having me on.
Of course, man.
Absolutely.
I think we'll have to start getting you on here more frequently because this was a good episode.
I will. I would love to. Miami Mike is the name, but yeah,
don't wear it out.
Don't wear it out. Don't wear it out. Go Fins.
All right. See you guys.